So factoring by difference of squares it's important to know what your perfect squares are. So that's our perfect square list. If you're unsure if any number is perfect square, then you can always take the square root. So we have a squared minus b squared is the format that you'll see. And the way you write it is a plus b and a minus b. So see how this is different? This is the difference of squares. You have two squareds, and then there's subtraction between them. Subtraction of perfect squares. When you see that, you know that you'll do this format of difference of squares. So if I have x squared and that's my a squared, then if I take the square root of it, squared and square roots cancel each other. So that just equals x. If I have y to the 6th power, and I take the square root, I'm going to half it to get the square root. So it's y to the 3rd power. So with variables, it's kind of funny. We want to find out what would be to the squared, like what's the perfect square? Well, you have to take the square root. And so that's how I got the 3. Basically, you are going to half the exponent. Okay, so we just have 3 examples. So let's look at the first one. It says x squared minus 49. So our format is a squared minus b squared. And the way I write it is a plus b and a minus b. So I got to find out what a is and what b is. And the way you do that is by taking the square root. So if I take the square root of x squared, it's just x. So that's what my a is. And so b is going to be the square root of 49. Which it's a perfect square up there. That's one of the ones we filled in. 7 squared is 49. So this is 7. So that's what I'm going to plug in for A and for B on each one of these. So it'll be x and 7. X and 7. So this will be x plus 7 and x minus 7. That would be the factored form. So factoring is undoing multiplication or undoing the distributive property. So do y'all remember back in Algebra 1 when you multiplied those two? Does anybody remember that? You could either do double distribution or the box method. Does anybody remember the box method? So the way that you could check this would be by multiplying. X plus 7, x minus 7. This is to check my work. I just want to show y'all where this is coming from, okay? So we're multiplying. So we do x times x is x squared. 7 times x is 7x. Negative 7 times x is negative 7x. And negative 7 times positive 7 is negative 49. Shake your head if you remember this. Shake your head if you don't remember this. So then you add these terms, right? And we have negative 7x plus 7x. Well, 7 minus 7 is 0. So this leaves me with just x squared minus 49. So this was multiplying. And what factoring does is undo that multiplying. So see how x squared minus 49 is the same as x plus 7 times x minus 7. We don't have to do this every time. I just wanted you to see where it came from. So what we are trying to get at is we're factoring this to give us this by doing the difference of squares. All right, let's look at example 2. This is going to be a squared minus b squared.
Although when you square root a value with the x attached, you also have to change the value.
Yes. So when you square a root, you have to square root them both. So I'm going to take the square root of 4 and the square root of x to the 6th. So the square root of 4 is 2. And then when we take the square root of x to the 6th, we just take half, right? That's what we wrote up here. Half of that exponent. So it's to the 6th, it'll be to the 3rd. Then you take the square root of 36. What do we get there? 6. So then this is A, and this is my B. Oh, not A again, sorry. So we just have to write it at A plus B times A minus B. So A, 2x to the 3rd, plus B, which is plus 6, and then A minus B, 2x to the 3rd, minus 6. So they're the exact same order, exact same terms. All that's different is the sign. One has plus, one has minus. If you reversed them, it'd be fine too, because it's the same thing. All right, let's do example 2. All right, so it does x and y on this one. So this is going to be a squared. This is going to be b squared. So we need to find a and b. So take the square root of 4, x6, y2. So you do each one separately. What's the square root of 4? 2. And then whenever you have the exponent, remember you half it. So what is x's exponent going to be? Half it? 3. And then y squared? Just y to the first. And now you do 36. What's the square root of 36? 6.
You don't include the sign?
No, because that's just telling us that it's a difference of squares. A and B are squared. The minus represents the difference of the squares. Okay, so then we would write this as this is A, this is B. So you do 2x cubed y plus 6. And then 2x cubed y minus 6. Bless you.